How's it going, everybody? Alex from Star-batt here. I'm leaving on a Nebraska archery antelope hunt tomorrow and currently packing all my gear and realized we have a lot of cool brands here on the table, and I just wanted to kind of show you guys what my loadout is for a Nebraska antelope hunt. Now, this is about 90% done. I'm still packing a few things, and I am meeting a friend who drove down to Nebraska ahead of me. So he has some of my gear, but I'll just kind of go through a few of the big things in no particular order. This is a 5-day hunt. This is a spot and stock hunt. We are not sitting any water, not sitting any blinds. And so the name of the game is to come back to base camp every night, but run fast and light. My buddy Sean's down there right now, and he's doing about 12 to 20 miles a day on foot. It's relatively flat country. And so we just want to be super light and nimble, but still have the ability to come back and, of course, run a company from the RV. So I'll show you what we have going on. So, like I said, in no particular order, having loungewear is super important to me, being able to change out after a long day. I'm running KUIU shorts. You'll see a theme here. I run a lot of KUIU gear. I have not historically been a camo snob, but in the effort of packing light and eliminating having to bring up a lot of redundancy on clothes, I have found that I can trust KUIU to stand up to everything we put it through. And so I only bring the pants that I'm wearing on the plane, as well as one other set. And I've just defaulted to KUIU because I trust them and I know that it's not going to fall apart mid-hunt. And so I've extended that to civilian wear, some KUIU shorts, basketball shorts, of course, my underwear, wool socks. These are nothing super fancy. We went to Cabela's last night, and for merino wool socks, they wanted like $26 a pair. These are just traditional wool, and I think I got 16 bucks for 4 pairs. I have learned that socks are a huge investment. But I'm not so bougie that I need $26 socks. I'd rather have fresh socks, and I do rotate them through. This is only a 4 or 5 day hunt, so this is going to be more than enough. It's going to be relatively warm, but a beanie for those late nights, as well as if you're on the run and gun, you get super sweaty, sun goes down, you get chilly quick. Rather than packing a bunch of warming layers, I found that just being able to keep your ears, fingers, and toes warm, the rest of your body stays pretty warm. So have a Star-batt beanie. Let me know in the comments if we should make these available. Antelope hunting, I don't run a decoy. I haven't found they work that great, but a flash of white is nice. You can get a curious buck to come in. And so what I do here is I just have a cheap wife beater that I will put over my bow to, extend it out, slip it over my bow, and I can wave an antelope down. Seems to work just as good as a decoy, and it's one less piece of gear that I need to bring. Basic KUIU ball cap. I got a Slumberjack sleeping system. This is nothing super fancy. It's also not super light. This is not my backcountry sleeping bag. I am sleeping in a camper every night, and so this is more than enough for what we're going to be doing. For footwear, I am a footwear snob. For years, I ran just kind of run-of-the-mill boots, and I had them fall apart right before big hunting trips or on hunting trips. You can only go as far as your feet are going to take you. I spent a lot of time on my feet, and so this is my second pair of Crispies. My first pair lasted about 4 years of pretty heavy use, and I'll never go back. So Crispies, these are the Summit 2s. My buddy that I'm hunting with, he bought a pair of Summit 2s. He hated them, so they don't work out for everybody. He's a Crispy guy too. I think right now he is running the Idahos, but I like the Summit 2s. Nice to have light footwear to air your feet out at camp. These are just some light Tevas. They strap to the outside of my pack really nicely, and so I bring these everywhere I go. I'm a nicotine guy. Helps keep me sane. Bring a roll of Rogue with me on my trips. Good pair of eyewear, nice polarized Maui Jims. Headlamps, super important piece of kit. You know what they say, 1 is none, 2 is 1. On a piece of gear that's important, I always bring 2. I bring my primary headlamp, which is a Dive Bob Industries headlamp, and then just a much cheaper Black Diamond. Okay, here we have, of course, the Star-batt. Guys, this is an unreleased model. This is the Star-batt Plus. I'll give you a sneak peek here. Very similar to what you're used to, but some added features. You'll notice we have an Ethernet pass-through on this, and I won't explain exactly how, but this is an airline compliant model. Like I said, I'm going to be flying into Denver tomorrow, and I'm bringing this on as my carry-on luggage. Starlink Mini inside the Star-batt. I will keep it charged the entire trip. We have no generator, but we have plenty of sun. This hunt last year is where we kind of did the final T&E of the original Star-batt. I ran it outside for 5, 6, 7 days. Ran it continuous with the Star-batt solar panel. So we're going to do that again this year. This, combined with this, will keep me online whenever I need to be. Will also keep all my devices charged. I'm able to charge my MacBook Pro from my Star-batt here. Super simple. There's a 65 watt PD port on this. Bring my chargers for all my devices, and this will last as long as I need it to. As long as I have sun. Without sun, you're going to get over 24 hours of runtime with this. My water systems, I'm pretty simple. I run a Nalgene as well as a 3-liter platypus. Now, depending on the hunt I'm doing, where I'm at in the world, I do kind of have a few particular considerations, and I change out my water system depending on my access to water. Here we have access to plenty of cattle troughs. It comes out of well water, but it's not the safest to drink. Guys get pretty sick on that water for some reason, and so I'm bringing my, as always, my water filtration system. This is a platypus gravity system. I have the bag somewhere in here, but I fill a dirty bag, hook it up with the filter, turn it upside down, and then gravity fill my 3-liter bag, and then I have an adapter to run on my Nalgene. Let's talk about my binos. So, as you can see here, I'm running what I would argue is the nicest pair of binos on the market. These are the Swarovski EL Range 10x42s. Dean over at Swarovski was nice enough to gift us this pair of binoculars. I have been super impressed. I'm going to make a bunch of content on these out on that hunt. But these have a rangefinder built into them. They are just absolutely phenomenal glass. I'm running them inside of a marsupial system. I've been a marsupial guy for years. I've run a smaller bino historically, and so I've had to upgrade to a medium pouch to fit these Swarovskis. Because they're a little bit of a bigger bino and they have a rangefinder built in, I found that the extra weight on the front of your chest feels a little off balance. And so, in keeping with my goal of running light and fast, I've opted to go with the marsupial day bag that will fit my 3-liter water system, fit some snacks, a light jacket, my water filtration system, everything I need for what I'm calling the run and gun antelope hunt. So this is all I'll be running day in and day out. We'll see how it works. I'm super excited. I love marsupial gear. Because it's archery antelope hunting, if we're blessed in getting in close proximity with antelope, there's a lot of them with really good eyes. You know, you have 5 antelope, that's 10 sets of eyeballs you have to dodge. And so getting a last minute range by getting the whole binoculars out can be challenging and can be the difference between spooking that goat and notching a tag. And so I am going to still run an external vortex rangefinder here on the side of my marsupial harness. Just some basic gear. I always bring my spork thingy so I always can eat my pouches of tuna. Kind of one of my favorite field snacks. I'm going to be making a bunch of content, so I got my DJI microphones. 550 cord. I feel like I don't have to explain to my followers why 550 cord is so important. Super versatile piece of kit. You use that 1,000 different ways. It's kind of the duct tape of the woods. Bring this. Lighters. I have one here, but I have them stuffed in tons of pockets and pouches. I probably have, I don't know, half a dozen lighters on me. It's one of those things. They're super light. There's no reason not to carry more. Lighters. I run a fairly ultralight medical kit. Some basic stuff in here. We got some gauze, some bandages, finger splints, tape. You know, pretty basic medical kit. If I'm being honest, some mole tape. Get blisters. Mole tape's super important. If I'm being honest, if there's one piece of kit that I should be investing in and upgrading a little bit, it's my medical kit. The reason I'm comfortable with such a small kit is because ultimately we are always within, 5 miles of a truck where we have, a full-size medical kit and even a bigger one in the camper. So I'm comfortable running this small of a kit, but definitely recognize the importance of medical and not skimping on your medical supplies. On that note, something I forgot to talk about, and I think is a underutilized piece of kit, especially for archery hunters, is a Cat T tourniquet. I run it in my archery pouch. Archery hunters, we run with knives, literally. I think that's a Cam Hanes tagline, and it doesn't take much to trip and fall, put a broadhead through a piece of meat where you don't want a broadhead. And so this is absolutely sometimes the difference between life or death. If you're out in the woods, there's no reason you shouldn't have a tourniquet, a high quality tourniquet. There's plenty of good tourniquets on the market. I run a Cat T. Extra batteries for my knife. I really like these Havalons with the interchangeable blades. I don't like sharpening knives on the go. And so for my kill kit, I use one of these little Havalon. This is actually a Gerber, but it's based on Havalon, just the razor sharp, exchangeable tips. And then I bring a backup set of about 6 blades in here. I have done an entire moose with a little knife like this. Now, it did take me probably more than 6 blades, but doing an antelope, a deer, even an elk, you can get it done in 3 blades or less. Some basic medication, ibuprofen, diarrhea pills, NyQuil. I have some narcotic painkillers just in case I break a leg. I think I have some hydros in here. Something I always bring. I think a little medication. I'm not super bougie and run scent-free deodorant. For elk I do, but antelope, I've never been overly concerned with it. We play the wind pretty well. If you don't have the wind, it doesn't really matter. And so I'm just running basic deodorant, toothbrush, toothpaste, my Bible. Try to bring this on all of my trips with me. This one's a little heavier. I was looking for my pocket Bible. Haven't found it yet, but I will be exchanging this out with my pocket Bible. But having the Lord's Word on my trips has always provided me comfort. Give us something to break open at night at the campfire. Tops, same thing. Kuyu. I'm running mostly hooded stuff. We're out in the baking heat, sun. There's not much coverage out on the Antelope Plains, and so I like running hooded gear. But I'm a loser, and I mix Kuyu and Sitka. You can hate on me in the comments. Like I said, I'm really not a gear snob. I just like good stuff, and I believe Kuyu and Sitka both make top stuff, as well as some other companies. This is a Sportsman's Warehouse house brand. I think this is called Killick. Short sleeve shirt. I've run this thing for years. A good set of rain gear. I'm running the Kuyu Katana storm shells, top and the bottom. This is something that, depending on what the forecast looks like, I often don't bring the bottoms, but I always try to bring my jacket as just a lightweight jacket, even if it's no rain in the forecast. Gloves, same thing. If you get super cold and you're packing light, being able to cover your hands, your ears, and keep your feet warm keeps your core temperature up. And so just doesn't matter the temperatures of the hunt. I always pack a thing of gloves. I bring a light stretchy belt. I run a leather belt for my EDC, but hunting, I always run this super stretchy belt. I own a lot of different pants. These are my favorite. This is pretty much the only set I run now. These are the Kuyu Katanas. These are like ultra light, but somehow they stand up to cacti just fine. We beat the hell out of these. I've never torn a pair. You have nice hip vents in them. You stay super cool. And these, Climate sleeping pad, Kuyu jacket. This is pretty much stays in the camper this time of year. This is their guide jacket. All right, we're nearing the end. I'm a Mystery Ranch guy. I'm a little biased. I looked up to the Recon Marines in my time in the Marine Corps, and I was always super jealous that Recon was running Mystery Ranch, and so I've just kind of idolized Mystery Ranch, and as soon as young Alex could afford Mystery Ranch gear, I bought a few of their packs, and they're still running strong 10 years later. This is I think it's the Beartooth 60. Sawtooth 60, Beartooth's the bigger one. I have both bags, but for this hunt, Beartooth, I anticipate leaving this at camp. Camp chair, I never bring this on my back. This is something that will stay at the camper. Good game bags. These are the Argali game bags. Super important, being able to get your meat while it's still clean up and off the ground, keep flies off of it, allow it to drain, allow it to breathe, not have to worry about it tearing. We can hang it from the string, the weight of the meat in the bag. It's not going to stretch these bags out. I think this is a worthwhile investment. Some Argali game bags. And then last but not least, my bow setup. Here we are running a Bowtech Realm X. This is an older bow. It's nothing fancy. I'm not like some of you cool guys that are running a Hoyt RX7 or RX9. If Hoyt wants to sponsor me, you know where to find me. I would happily run a Hoyt bow. But I've told myself I'm not going to upgrade bows until I'm blessed enough to kill an archery elk with it. And so have a Bowtech Realm X. I'm running Sever mechanical broadheads. I also like these Kudu fixed broadheads, but not for the distances that we shoot antelope at. And so keep them in the gear, but I'm mostly running a full quiver of these Severs. These are kind of a cool broadhead. The 1.5 2-blade titanium mechanicals, I think is an awesome arrow or a broadhead for antelope, but I also use these now that you can shoot elk with mechanicals in Idaho. This is what I'm running in my quiver year round. And then I'm running these RIP TKOs. I'm a big guy with a big draw length, and I've been trying to get down to a 200 spine. I need a super stiff arrow. I'm pulling 73 pounds on the bow, and I have a 31-inch draw, and so everything from calculators to the data in shooting arrows has told me that I've been underspined for years. I was traditionally shooting 300s. It was very hard to find 200 spines. When the RIP TKOs came out, my bow shop turned me on to these, and they've been an awesome arrow. So that's what I'm running. Small archery field kit, set of Allen keys. Goes without saying, most of the accessories here are Allen keys. You'd be a fool not to pack this out. I do throw this in my bino harness when I go out, so God forbid a quiver gets loose, a sight gets loose, I have the ability to tighten it up. And this is a gift for the landowner, Emil, who was nice enough to let us hunt his property year in and year out. Buck Knives is local to us in North Idaho, and so Emil always thinks it's super cool that we drive out from Nebraska every year and hunt his piece of land, and so we brought him back a piece of North Idaho with this beautiful buck knife. So this is a gift to Emil. And that's it, guys. I will bring you along on this journey. We're going to try to film a bunch of content, hopefully get a goat down for you. But yeah, that's what I'm running out in the woods. Good equipment makes the difference between a good hunt and a shitty hunt, and that's why I run good equipment. All right, had a little interruption with a child that wanted peanut butter sticks. But as I was saying, we are running the best gear on the market, not because we're gear snobs, but we put our gear through its paces. We rely on our gear, and we need it to stand up. We're all working men. They go on our hunts together, and we don't get a ton of time off. And so having the best gear lets us maximize the time, and that's why I'm running the gear that I'm running. And certainly that's the mindset that the Star-batt Mini was built with. All of our products, quality is at the forefront of everything that we do. Second to our customer support, which if our quality ever fails, our customer support won't. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Stay tuned. We'll have a lot of content to post.